So Pico's presentation, I would like to start. And you have to finish in exactly 5 minutes. Please, I'm timing it now. Not a second more.
You took my 1 minute now. Anyway, so my name is Niraju. First of all, thanks for Mr. Sagar to be able to do this presentation as a co-sponsor for today. I will try to keep it short as possible. I have many slides prepared, but let's do it as short as possible. The company Peikko is from Finland. We've been established for more than 65 years. We are operating in more than 30 countries. And currently we are moving into the Indian market with a physical activity. So whatever product I will be able to present within these 5 minutes, all are manufactured locally here. So at the moment, we will have 2 facilities in the northern part and the southern part to cater the market. Our product segment is a delta beam frame, and then we have precast connections and some application for cast in situ. So the delta beam frame is a system of composite columns and delta beams which can be used with various slab systems. Depends on which part of the world different slab methodology is being adopted. And you can also see wooden slab is also something we are doing mostly in the Northern Europe and in Canada as well. So the versatility of the system is great. So you can do steel decking, hollow core slab, filigree slab, or cast in situ slab. One of the things which was our great speakers was mentioning is that, okay, how do we ensure, for example, built-in fire resistance? So our system has 2 hours fire built in with a structural design, so you don't need to do any fireproofing. And as you can see, some of the project is also done in Canada, which is the high-rise building you are seeing here with a cantilever up to 2 meters. Maybe I will jump this because we don't have time for this, but I will go to the next slide. So the composite system is consisting of a composite column, basically a tube, which has a reinforcement cage from the factory. And then we have the delta beam, which is a composite beam, is a build-up section, and it has a fire resistant also built in with this reinforcement which is inside the section. Composite columns, it comes in various shapes. You can have round, square, or rectangular, or even diamond shape, whatever size you want to do. That will be built up. Otherwise, you can do single floor or multi-floor columns to really speed up your project. This is something we excel in compared to the conventional methodology. So why go with our system? So the main aspect is to reduce your structural zone. So when you reduce your structural zone, you can add extra floors. This is actually where our system is adding value. In addition to that, we can do up to 25 meters. We have already done certain project in India where the 16-meter beam has been supplied for a mall project. So the value is, as again, the MEP HVAC installation can run without any hindrance, and you can then increase your volume of your building. The main comparison you can see here, the convention method, you will have I-beam, drop beam, or ledge beam, as for example with the precast or with the steel structure. What we are trying to achieve is basically a built-in structure, a beam within the floor depth. So we have actually trying to achieve a floor-to-floor cycles if you have a full prefab system up to 4 days actually. This is, keep in mind, you have to do entire floor system in a prefab. So we have also obtained the UL fire rating, so all our products has been tested in full-scale facility in UL Chicago some years back. So we have 4 hours fire rating, and the composite columns is actually a cordial product, so we design according to the codes. Here some comparison cost-wise and the volume-wise, why this system is feasible and why it adds value in terms of money and volume. So you see here in the upper one, you have a conventional PEB structure. The floor depth is coming more than 700s. And this exercise is done for one tower building in KSA, Saudi Arabia. And with the composite beams, we were able to reduce from 750 to 350. So the multi-purpose building has 23 floors. So we were able to reduce the overall volume by 9 meters. Or the investor could add a couple of floors extra. So as Mr. Gilbert said, you could use it for some social gathering space, or you can add extra more floors to get a higher return of investment. The beam can be part of your structural system based on your project or your structural frame system. We prefer the beam to be part of the gravity member system, so it's not part of the frame. So you have a core which will stabilize the building. In some cases, we do have the beam as a part, and we will strategically locate those beams and then make the moment connection. Otherwise, we prefer to have it a pin connection. These are some reference projects. I will try to go, I don't know how many minutes I have. Oh, she's talking on the phone, so I have a little bit more. These are some of the projects I have personally been involved. This is from Denmark, 18 floors. You have an inner core and outer beam and outer column was acting as a secondary frame. We don't have any seismic in Denmark, so it's only wind force which is going to cover. What is key feature in this project is they have a very sensitive facade system. So we designed the beam for L by 2000. That was the deflection demand. So it should only settle a couple of millimeters. So there was a high demand on the deflection requirement. Some detailing, so we do all the design in-house, so we will support you in case you want to adopt this system in terms of designing and doing the connection design. This is, I think Mr. Gilbert mentioned about some project where they have multiple tower and using the same foundation pad. So in this project, they have a two building called 3000 Main in Winnipeg, and there's another building called 360. So one building was built in 1989, so it has 30 floors, so we have to use the same foundation. So introducing delta beam by reducing the floor depth, by utilizing the hollow core, so lighter structure, we were able to add actually 12 extra floors. So in this case, Gilbert, the investor got more out of it, yeah? So he has to wait 40 years to do it, but yeah, anyway. So this is some picture from the project. So all the columns are steel columns and then connected with the delta beam. Another project is Glass House in Winnipeg. This is an entire slim floor system. So delta beam around 8 to 9 meters spacing. The column, so the slab is around 8 meters as well. And here we were able to add extra 2 floors compared to the conventional structure. This is a project in Denmark, G plus I think 20 floors. Here we have composite columns, circular column with the reinforcement, and the composite delta beam. Again, we were able to keep everything slim, so you had the advantage of a slim floor system. I will just quickly jump into some of the projects we have done in India. Yes. So this is a G plus 14 in Chennai, entire precast structure. We manufacture those beams actually in UAE and ship to the site. So here you can see the entire frame. So you can see some of the delta beams. And this is without any drop. So this is something very valuable when you have a car park. You don't have any drop beams. Second project is a project across Mumbai Airport, a Fairmont Hotel, which is recently opened. Steel columns and composite delta beam was supplied to the site. We have also punching reinforcement. This I will mention later. The last project is a mall project in Chennai as well. The length of the beam is 16 meters, which I mentioned before. They were having a special requirement in certain areas. So this was manufactured and supplied from UAE. So before leaving the stage, I would just say that we do have local manufacturing. Please reach out to us in terms of you have any conceptual design you want to look into. We are more than help to give you a value engineering concept from cost, time, and execution part. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I'm sure you can interact with all the guests during the dinner. You'll get a lot of time for that. Friends, we are going for the panel discussion, and while we make the arrangements for that, I will request Sagar to come and give his presentation. Just give me a minute. And it won't be more than 5 minutes, so in just a minute. I think we should start.
Hello. So thank you everyone for coming and joining us for this event. So I'm going to give a little bit of introduction of my company. We are S-Struct Consultants Private Limited. We started about 3 years ago. And since we are talking about high-rise buildings, I'm concentrating on that in my introduction. So how many tall buildings are there in the Pune right now? So if I go on internet, internet shows me there are total only 2 buildings right now standing in Pune. There are 4 more under construction. Maybe there are more under planning, but under construction are only 4. How many tall buildings? When I say tall buildings, I'm talking about 40 floors, 40-story plus or 120-meter plus. So as an experience, what the kind of experience that we have, we alone have done about 29 high-rise buildings, 40-story plus. And that goes up to, so 40 stories approximately 120 meters, but we have done buildings up to 250 meters as an experience of engineers that we have. So I'm just going to go through some of the projects that we have done just for you to show. Fountain Views of Dubai, ITC's Welcome Hotel that is in Colombo. Most of those buildings are 35 meters and plus, goes up to 80 meters. Sky City, that is in Mumbai, JK House, that is Raymond's house. Then Sense and Villa, Dosti Ambrosia. Palo Royal, this is one of the tallest buildings in India, about 80 meters. Then again, few more projects from Dubai, they are tall. Commercial project which is tall. Again, one more ITC Kohinoor hotel, few more hotels basically. Then some malls that we have done, that remall that you're looking at is about 250 meter by 900 meter footprint. That is the kind of project that we have done. Then, do you need special skills to design high-rise buildings? So basically, right now in Pune, you have consultants or there are engineers who are very efficient in designing buildings which are 45 meters, 50 meters, or 15 meter, 15 story. So if the same skill set guy with the same skill sets, engineering with the same skill set, if they try to design buildings which are more than 100 meters, can they design? Probably they do. They will put everything into ETABS and they will get the results. But will you get the efficiency out of it? Will you get feasibility out of it? Will it be efficient enough for the end user, for constructability and all that? Not sure. So how it is different than your low-rise buildings? Basically, your effects of earthquake loads are different. So in 15-story building, generally, even if you make some mistakes, they are generally earthquake governed, and no one have ever remembered having an earthquake in Pune. So even if you make some mistakes in earthquake calculations, that's fine. Unless earthquake doesn't come, building is safe. But high-rise buildings also have wind issues. That is serviceability. So at least once a year, we get at the start of the monsoon, we get very high loads, very high winds. And they are serviceable conditions where people can get dizzy. They can feel acceleration, vibrations. So if your high-rise building is not designed by experienced engineer, you are going to have an issue. Your people who are staying into your projects will feel the problem. And this is the problem you cannot fix. Once the building is done, it cannot be fixed for serviceability. It can be fixed for strength. If it is weak in earthquake resistance, you can upgrade it. For wind resistance, you cannot do anything about it. Then for lateral load resistance system, it is different. Efficiency and feasibility is different. So we came into Pune thinking whether we can whether we can get a chance to showcase our skill sets. We were not sure. We started 2.5 years ago. Luckily, we got very lucky, and we got some of the very, very tall projects that to work on. Gilbert said there is the project in Toronto, which is called the One, which is tallest building in Toronto. This project is coming in Pune. Again, the name of the project is The One, and it is going to be tallest commercial building in Pune. So we are designing that very proudly. Some of the projects from Shapurji's is in Manjari that we are doing. A few of the Godrej projects. Godrej is one of our main clients, so we have quite a few projects with them. Another project with Shapurji, Godrej. You're going to see a lot of Godrej projects in it. 600 tenement. This is project in Mumbai. We are already using Delta Beam, the product of Peikko, into this one. Another Godrej building. Couple of buildings we did for RJC, Gilbert's and my old company from here. So we also work with Canadian clients and UAE clients. A few more buildings. I'm not going to go in detail about this. Some of the pain points that developers and architects have, again, with time constraints, I'm not going to go deep. But because we know your pain points, we are well equipped to deal with it. And you can talk to Mr. Vinod Dusia, sir, and he can probably explain you how we handle it very, very differently. This is our team. A few people are missing in this one. This is our advisory board, which includes Girish sir and Gilbert Reynard, along with Sachit Mehta sir. These are our licenses. We are licensed to have, we are licensed with 250-meter limit for Mumbai. Very few people we have, but we have. We also have Canadian license. Right now, we are based in Pune. We also have opened our Mumbai office. Our future plans are to open Dubai office, Bangalore office, and Gurgaon office. Dubai is on priority. Some of the clients we are working with right now, some of the very prestigious ones, you may know a few of them. Some of them are international clients. We have experience, so my experience comes from working in Mumbai, so basically India, UAE, and North America, same with my partner. And then there is another thing as a peer reviews. I see that there are not a lot of peer reviews happens in Pune, basically. So my understanding is you reach out to consultant, they say, oh, we are not going to allow peer review. So you know you are spending 3,000 rupees a square feet as a developer. You are paying us peanuts to design our building. So probably 10 rupees max. And then we take 10 rupees from you. We give you drawings and we ask you spend 1,500 rupees on that drawing. And then if you ask whether those 1,500 rupees are efficient enough, whether can I review and make it for 1,490 or 1,480. And if I'm saying no, I'm not going to allow that. That is unfair, I believe. So we insist all our clients to review, get peer reviewer, review our design, and get review whatever the design that you have in hand right now. Because it has to be feasible, because it creates sustainability. If you reduce material, it helps society. Then the way we approach the design is many times we get the drawings at GFC stage after architect finishes his working, and then client says, okay, give me column positions. We can be optimized as much as possible, we can be feasible as much as possible, but I know that by doing optimizing at detailed design stage, we cannot give our 100%. So we insist all our clients to introduce us at the concept stage. We can suggest very small changes which can result in very high savings, very high optimization. Just moving a grid by 6 inches will align all the framing, and that will be a very, very optimized structure. We are doing that for Godrej on their upcoming projects, and we recommend involve not just us, but all the consultants at the concept stage so that we can give our best. We proudly spend 30% of your fees at the concept stage, 40% of our fees at schematic stage, and we have proved that these two stages can save a lot. With Mangalam, we have showed that by giving our 100% at the schematic stage, we have reduced their steel constant significantly, more than expectation. No matter how much we try to optimize at detail stage, you can reduce few bars and you can be happy about it. But I can promise you that is not enough. There is chance for more. And when we have started, we do not have CAD department. We do everything in Revit because we believe Revit is future, BIM is future. So whether you want your projects in CAD or Revit, we do everything in Revit. And that is the future 5 years down the line, I believe. So thank you very much. And if you have high-rise building coming up, do call me. We can set up a meeting. Very happy to meet you in your office. Thank you.
I request all of them to please come on stage as their slide comes on screen. Can we have Nilesh Vohra, Himanshu Agrawal, Tejraj Patil? They represent the developers. They are the people with funds and vision. And everything is not about money. These are the architects, friends, the one who convert that money into something that we all should be proud of. Can I request Radhika Vaidya, Rohit Sardesai and Vikas Achalkar, my dear friends, to come on stage? The structure behind all that, the skeleton that holds it together. Can I request Girish Dravid to come on stage? And finally, the project manager who takes the entire headache on his poor head. Mr. Nilesh Laddad, can you please come on stage? Friends, let's shake ourselves up and give a round of applause, because this gathering about sums up whatever we have seen so far. It's about sums up not only what our city is going to be, but what are we going to really be doing consciously. So I will be standing here. I will be controlling the time, don't worry. And I'll be referring to my notes at this moment in time. Friends, this panel discussion will be of 3 rounds. The first round will be where I ask one common question to all of them, and they have to answer that question very bluntly and very frankly in 1 minute. So my first question to all of you is, starting with Nilesh, is, in one sentence, how would you describe a Pune in 2050,
Check.
whether or not you are going to be around?
Well, we'll be around for sure. And so that's what I believe,
Yes.
and I would like to believe. With the poor head that you mentioned of a project manager, I do believe Pune needs better, more educated, more planned engineers who will take the big task of changing the skyline of Pune, which is already happening in the last 2 years. So yes,
Okay, so you're talking about that skyline is going to change.
of
You're
course.
accepting that.
Yes.
Vikas, not only are you an architect, you are the chairman of IIA. So my question to you is different. How do you look at a body looking at this growth? A collection of different people.
First of all, a very good evening to everybody. I think Pune has never stopped evolving. So right from the 90s, so earlier we had buildings which were 15-meter height, then immediately we had something which was 24-meter height, immediately we had something 36-meter height, then 40, then 50, 70, now 100, now 150, somebody is saying 150 plus. So I think Pune is evolving. And Bombay took time to evolve. And it took about, say, 30, 35, 40 years for Bombay to evolve. But I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Pune is, for the last 30 years, only evolving, always on the run. So,
True, true.
And I think we are taking it up very nicely. All the developer friends here. But let me tell you, I think Pune is one of the only cities in India where the developers they have a perfect setup. Most of them are well versed in what they do. They understand the business very well. They have a good team and qualified team, and they have the infrastructure in place to do the construction.
Tejraj sir, my question to you is, you are relatively young for a builder who has so much of presence all over the city. My question to you is aligned with this. My question is, do you believe that a developer should be willing to take a step back at times, or do you feel that being a developer, the one thing that your heart is set on is growing and growing? Is it time sometimes to take a step back and pause?
So, I'm audible? Hello. Hello. So as a developer, I think we shouldn't step back at all.
Okay.
We should have our R&D teams ready. The research and development should be at the back end. And looking at the potential in which the Pune is growing, and all the district places, if you see, world is growing at a very fastest rate. India is one of the fastest growing countries economically and infrastructure wise. And Maharashtra is one of the leading states, which is the growth engine for the growth of Orient. And in Maharashtra, Pune is the fastest growing city. As Achalkar sir said, ki Pune is a very fastest growing city. So Pune has huge potential. Pune Corporation and state government is heavily invested in Pune. So there are metro projects, ring road is going on, existing airport is being extended, new airport is been coming in place. Lot of activities in beautification of the Pune are taking. Chief Secretary of Maharashtra just issued a circular to every municipal corporation in order to submit the detailed plan in order to beautification of the, so this angle was been never explored by the state governments or any of the local bodies. So looking at this thing, we should really explore the growth of the Pune, and it is really no looking back.
Wonderful. So even as a developer, you do agree that there has to be a balance to that. Even though we are a growth engine, there has to be a balance to that, right?
Yeah. The factors which the earlier speakers mentioned, with that now to make this city livable, so it has to be a consolidated growth. In
Yes.
terms of like, no, it should be a livable city.
Right.
It should be a livable city.
My next question, can somebody remove this podium now? My next question is to Radhika ma'am, because you have stayed in the old part of Pune, the Pet areas. My question is very direct. How will urbanization proceed in the next 2 decades? In what way I'm saying? Are we going to go vertical all over the city, or the way I showed in my slide, will we still have those quaint areas where there is chaos, there is the old Vada? So like the Western countries have put strict parameter or a break, do you think it will really happen? Or will the Pet area completely dissolve?
Hello. Actually, I have never lived in the Pet area. So this, I can only imagine if I was staying in the Pet area. If you see the people who have lived in the Pet area, some of them are very, very determined not to leave that area. And some are ready to go to the outskirts. But those who are going to be there, see, everywhere the FSI is being given, more and more FSI is being granted all over Pune. So obviously there has to be vertical development, and this is not going to stop, according to me.
Right. My next question is to Rohit, because Rohit is Chief Operating Officer of ANP Corp, which are doing really tall and high-end buildings. My question is very simple, that nowadays we have come to the next iteration. Earlier it was everybody wants comfortable houses, carpet area proper paije, washroom proper paije, motha hall paije, ventilation. Now it is the elevation which is getting the eyeballs. So what is your view on the development that an elevation will take? Will we see a lot of different and variety of elevations happening all over town? Will there be R&D in this? What is your prediction?
So I feel that we are in a transition phase right now. There is a lot of things going on parallelly. Somewhere we are getting stuck, somewhere we are getting resolved. But next 5 years would be the testing litmus time for us, where things would get settled down, is what my personal opinion is. And whatever will be the high-rise construction, because today, whether we like it or not, in situ aluminum formwork based construction is the chosen typology for a developer. Availability of precast is not so much. Availability of other secondary skins getting attached to buildings are still getting evolved. But 5 years down the line, you will have to be forced to get into those differential vernacular architecture pieces. You will no longer have only high-rise towers with concrete facades. People will experiment with different material. And personally, my belief is that there will be a new science which will get developed to manage such large developments in terms of managing not only during construction as a project management, but managing those facilities, because government will slowly take their hands out. Today also government has pushed developers to put their own STP. I have my personal views on that, against it, but STP you will own manage, water treatment you will own manage, uh, vertical transportation you own manage. So you need those expertise, and those expertise will come in into the environment because people want to deliver. There is a lot of aspiration crowd who wants to go in into this kind of a building, and Pune is a unique proposition where Pune developed, Satara did not develop. But Pune will continue to develop because there is education, IT, AI, automobiles, in manufacturing. All these are in a right place, and next 25 years will be a golden period for Pune's development, is
Right.
what I feel.
My next question is for Nilesh because he represents the CREDA youth wing. The question is very simple. Any youth you see today, he does travel by metro. I myself went by metro many times and there were a lot of youngsters. And I talked to them and they say, Madam, ami roz vaparto. 30, 40 group of youngsters going from here to there. My question to you is, nowadays if you see, it's a heartening sign that lot of builders, they actually advertise using the metro, which was the original intention of metro. So they'll say, Vanas cha zawad hai, which makes people feel, ki, okay, it's close, let's traffic, our life is going to be easier. Do you think this good trend will continue as more and more people use the metro? You think this trend of, which was the intention of having FSI, will actually start working maybe 2-3 years hence and reduce the burden on the traffic on the roads?
So I may have a controversial view on this, but I'm just going to say that, Pune as a city, we are attracting a lot of international attention. So you have a lot of grade A tenants coming into Pune for setting up shop here. And when they're setting up shop here, they're looking at their employees. So the long story short is that for the employee to have a grade A experience, travel time and commute is one of the most important things, right? So if you live in Bangalore and it's going to take you 2 hours to get to office, half your productivity is gone there. So definitely, I don't think it's a choice. At the end of the day, people will, developments around metro stations will, start to get attention, and they will attract higher pricing and higher demand. And that's part of the grade A experience. Whether you are, you could be the CEO of a company also traveling by metro because it's convenient. Of course, the last mile connectivity has to be worked on, and those are challenges that need to be resolved. But with the kind of density and population density coming into Pune, metro is going to be our savior, and we all of us have really high hopes from it.
Yes. In fact, before I move to Himanshu, I want to narrate an incident. I was speaking with a friend. Her name is Asha Baste, and she hails from Mumbai. So I told her that, Asha, do you think here people will travel in metro, this, that? So she laughed and she told me, she said, Priya, do you know in Mumbai locals, there are businessmen who are carrying diamonds in their pocket and they are standing or sitting next to a fruit basket seller. So that is the democratic nature of a city that is enhanced by a metro because everybody is traveling by public transport. So my next question to Himanshu is that green is soon going to be mandatory in view of India's commitment to the recent COP29 held at Baku. I have friends who are green architects, and for the benefit of all, could you mention just a couple of things that are directly going to impact development, architecture, and people's mindset in Pune? You can give a layman's kind of answer.
Good evening, everyone. I believe what you've asked me, according to me, is the most important question for all of us, I would say. Sustainability is, not a word just thrown anymore. It is something that we as developers have to adopt, and it is going to be the differentiator, I think, very soon. Some of the examples of minimum requirements that I think a developer should look at is, apart from your basic energy savings, which is your solar panels, and your rainwater harvesting, but also providing more than what is required from a law point of view. So say, for example, I met um, a, a fabulous developer in Bangalore. And if you need, say for example, 2 or 4 rainwater harvesting pits, he's planned 60. And the benefit of that is not just for that particular plot of land, but it was a good 2 or 3 kilometers that other societies also helped, other projects also helped. And there were wells which were dried. They got activated. So rainwater harvesting according to me is a very, very important thing. So water, energy is 2 most important. EVs are going to become more and more important, so we need to plan them. Not the 25-30% that is required according to EC. I think over a period of time, this is going to get more and more, the requirement is going to be more and more. So I think we need to be future ready. Our buildings are not built in a day. Our buildings are built over a period of 4 or 5 years. So I think whatever we decide today has to be thought of in such a way that what will it be needed after 4 or 5 years. So that's all I can think of for now. I think another interesting thing would be the elevations, like you mentioned. There'll be a lot of green landscapes, vertical gardens, and even I think developers might go to the extent of planning, Miyawaki forest, urban forests. I think all these things will be differentiators very soon.
Okay, now I'll come to very grounded things. I want all of you, one by one, starting with Nilesh sir, to tell the audience, all of you are very well traveled. You have been to crazy places all over the world. Some of you are of an adventurous spirit also probably. So let us know one thing which you would love to incorporate in Pune from some city in the world, and one thing which you absolutely would not, regardless of whether that is already an aspect of Pune or not. One thing you would borrow from a foreign city, and one thing you would never like. Let's see how different the discussion.
Okay, so one thing which I keep saying is what I would want to borrow from another city to Pune is a downtown experience in USA. I would think is you have a commercial district, which actually is just commercial district. And where there are offices set up, there is good metro or public transport connectivity. And there is a residential zone which is separate from commercial. So no commercial work happens in residential zones, except the convenience stores, of course. I think that is something you should borrow because it works great from the entire sustainability and living standards perspective is what I would want Pune to think about. If there are the architects here or the development planners, so that is one thing. What I don't want to borrow, and I'm still doing it because I am into project management, the last key, after the designs are ready, I just am there to implement it, is I would want to try and avoid glass buildings, minimize glass buildings, minimize the glass exposure. We have 300 sunny days in Pune, and we have temperatures which reach up to 42, 44 degrees, and we are not made for sunny environments. So we are increasing the air conditioning loads, we are stopping the creativity. We have very good architecture in India, and I think I would want to try and avoid glass buildings. I would want to change the elevation, maybe do a double skin elevation is something I would want to do.
Actually, 2 things I would like to implement if given a chance or it's possible. One is that I want to ban off-street parkings in Pune. So no off-street parkings. So you buy a flat and you park your car on the road. That's not done. So you have to have parking lots area-wise, like you have abroad. So like Ferguson Road should have at least 3 parking lots, and all off-street parking on Ferguson Road should be banned. So that I would want it to happen in Pune. And of course, how green Singapore is. So you drive to the city and you see only trees. Only beyond the trees you see the buildings. So that is quite possible in Pune, if done up properly. Pune, as it is very green, and we can do it more greener. So that is what I would want Pune to be, like Singapore.
And Rohit?
So it's my wish that I can get the execution excellence which is going on in China in terms of making your project green. They will take extra efforts to preserve trees, get trees from some other places. Our rate is pathetic in terms of tree preservation. For sake of sanctioning, we will get something to do it. But the real life to a project comes when you have got full-grown greenery, the kind of human nature likes to go into green. So I would like to get all those executional expertise which we currently lack, because we are still in that transition of developing our economy, developing our projects. So that is something which I want to bring in. And the second thing which I want to bring in is how to improve the civic sense of a user to use the buildings. Because many a times developer will spend money to do facilities, to do infrastructure, city also is spending money to do it. But we as a citizen lack that ability to use that properly. So we need to really inculcate the civic culture, and it is for betterment of our own life. So I want to put my efforts into those aspects.
Radhika ma'am, I would like to ask you an added question, not only because you're a woman, but the question is like this, that currently, you'll agree with me, there is a lot of arrogance on the road. There is road rage. There is a lack of basic courtesy, and everybody is doing it. So can you connect this to the question which I asked you? Why is this happening? Are we becoming angry citizens or what? I don't know. Please.
I think it's a difficult question, but what I would like to add to his, what he said is that we have to educate our people. The civic sense is, needs to be improved. Within our societies, we can do sustainable things which are not present right now. Like in my society, I can insist on the garbage management. I can insist on saving water. There should be water audits if there are any leakages. It's a simple thing. We lose a lot of water due to leakages. So no society does this, you know. So saving water, saving trees, this has to be inculcated in the mind of everyone. It has to be something which each one has to inculcate, be proud of, you know. We don't think twice before cutting a tree or cutting the branches. We had a fight with our neighboring society, and my son, he was young at that time. He jumped over the fence and he was fighting with a senior citizen that why are you cutting the branches? So they photographed him, and then he got a bit scared. Then one of my friends who was the editor of a leading newspaper, we called him and said, see, this and this thing has happened. So he said, just call the tree department and tell them this thing has happened, just report it. And immediately, it was a Sunday, yet the people came and they find those people. You know, and the senior person was telling him that I have planted this tree, so I have the right to cut the branches. And he also cut another tree completely. So my son was, agitated about it. So this kind of a thing, if we inculcate right from childhood, then it would make a difference. That's what I want to say. And secondly, I want to say that, like he mentioned in his presentation, we have to have good footpaths and cycle tracks. Okay. That is something which is lacking in our city as well as most of the cities in India. And that is going to make life livable in the city. Thank you.
Nilesh, over to you. One thing that you would like to adopt from a foreign city, and one thing you never want to see coming to Pune.
So I'll pick up from what Radhika ma'am said. This whole thing about footpaths, one thing that I'd like to adopt is we have this culture of compound walls. So in front of the building, there's a compound wall and then there's a footpath. What if we remove this whole culture of compound walls? You get that much extra road, and imagine that all your retail spaces can be on the main road. You can walk into a retail store. So at least in high density areas or high street, high retail shopping areas and stuff like that, if we can in major streets, if we can remove this culture of compound walls, that could be something that that the city can really benefit from. Another thing that I would like to adopt is sense of private space that people have in Tokyo, where people are respectful of each other's private space. They're also respectful of how different they are from the other, right? So I think we've become a community that's not respectful of our differences, and we don't celebrate them. We are wary of accepting those. So that's something that I would like to borrow. What I would not like to borrow is we are all also aping the West. So most of our youngsters on a weekend are doing exactly the same thing that people do in the West. Can Pune have its own flavor? Can we be a community where the people are different? So something that's something that I would like to stay away from. Also picking up from what Nilesh sir said, I totally agree. When you're building a glass building in India, they say that you're spending crores of rupees building an oven, and then you're spending crores of rupees to refrigerate it. It makes no sense, and I don't know why we still do it, but unfortunately, it's what our buyers demand. So I hope that can change.
Tejraj?
I would like to design multiple interactive spaces which will help people to interact with each other, understand them, and they should be the most interesting places of the residential part of the building, so that people should be eager to go there, meet, interact. So I would like to do that. Second thing, I like to design projects which are net zero. So net zero is a very unique thing. It's very challenging thing right now, looking at the total scenario and the practices which we are doing. So I would like to get net zero within like 10 to 15 years. All of my buildings should be net zero. There are a few consultants who are guiding us over here. So, yeah. And one more thing I would like to add is, today we had a meeting with Commissioner of Pune and City Engineer also. So we are asking them to permission for covering the entire terraces of the buildings with solars. So now presently they are allowing us to do 25 to 35% of it. But so I would request sir also. So the headway below the solar panels is like 1.8 meters. So we were requesting them to make that 4 meters so that it can be used as a residential interactive spaces. Plus people, developers and the society people will be encouraged to cover the maximum space on the terrace, so that heat waves are also been avoided over there. Plantation will be there. And number of people coming on the roads or some common amenities and common public places will be reduced to an extent, and senior citizens and children will have their interactive spaces in their own residential premises. So that's what.
Because I think our terraces
and of course, what he said was, I want to reduce the glasses in the building. So use of glass.
Himanshu and Girish sir, one thing you would like to borrow and one thing absolutely not.
Actually, I believe that we are very lucky, because most of these cities in the world didn't have some sort of an example before them to go about designing their particular city. There are some amazing cities that you can mention. What comes to my mind is Tokyo. They have fabulous transit infrastructure. Copenhagen or any of these Scandinavian countries, as to how they've gone about adapting green policies, green mobility. Also Dubai, because they really know how to think out of the box. And how they've gone about promoting culture in their city. And then there are very small examples, like for example, Barcelona has a great smart wastewater waste management system. So I just believe that we have a great opportunity. If we just understand what they're doing right, we can really, become a global hub.
Wow, Girish sir, can you just sum up all this with your own opinion?
Not sum up, but I have some different take also. See, I think what should we adopt from other cities, good cities in the world? I feel Pune has a character, and we should try to preserve it. As I said, we have these pits and all these old structures, and most of them are going now. I mean, most of the vadas have been erased and tall buildings have come there. But whatever is left, we should preserve them. Of course, this should not curtail the right of the residents to develop their own properties. I mean, we cannot curtail as per law. If they want, they can demolish their vada and build. Nobody can stop them. But we should create an opportunity by giving them grants or some developers who are really interested in preserving Pune character. They can go to authorities, say that I want to adopt this vada, I want to preserve it. In turn, you give me 30% more FSI wherever in some other project. But this way, we can compensate the residents for preserving the character. We can retrofit those buildings, and 18th century, 19th century, 20th century can coexist with 21st century. So do your development outside the existing Pune city, retain the character of Pune. You develop interiors as well with metros and good bus routes and all that, but reduce the pressure of the interior Pune. Take people outside. Now, this is one part. This we should adopt as many European cities have done. And what we should not do is not build without a master plan. So what we are not doing in the interiors, we should have very well-planned precincts outside the existing city, very well-planned, and as we want bicycle lanes and absorbing soil and all that has to be planned in the new cluster development. All that can happen outside city, and that will be well-planned city. This way we can increase sustainability, we can increase, there will be redundancy in the system, and even the resiliency will be increased. So this we should do, and this we should not do.
So friends, it is
can
time.
I add
Yes,
something?
yes ma'am.
It just came to my mind that we could do a lot by public-private collaboration.
Do you think it's possible?
It should happen ideally, so that many green areas can be developed with the help of the citizens. If the government and the public, general public, citizens, they come together and take up such projects, I feel a lot can be done.
Yeah, it is very much possible.
It is possible.
I think it's somewhere already happening. Sir might correct me, but to some extent there is a partnership happening between, the government and us. If I am planning a project in a particular area, I am, paying attention to what is the infrastructure around, what is the roads around me, what are the services around me, and if it's not enough, I'm talking to the government. I'm trying to ensure that that gets built either through them or through a partnership. So, it's somewhere already happening at some level.
But very few examples.
Yes.
Very few examples like you. There should be many more people coming
it should
forward.
just get bigger. The arrangement should just be bigger.
So I think
we as the real estate developers are very much interested in doing such things, but there are some glitches in the policies which state government is trying to address, and I being the representative of Kredai Pune Metro and PMC convener, a lot many things are being
in the pipeline.
In pipeline. So we expect them to be fruitful and impactful at the earliest.
Another point
yes,
I wanted to make was in the corporation already some urban designers are being taken on board. But I feel there should be a team of different consultants, including MEP,
For example?
structural, sustainability, urban planners, town planners.
Wellness.
It has to be a team of people and a joint effort to come up with a master plan.
So friends, if I were to conclude and in my own humble way, if I were to say that all आत्ताच्या डिस्कशनमध्ये जे विचार प्रवाह दिसले आपल्याला, the different schools of thought, we have Vaishnavi who has been documenting the entire interview and the entire panel discussion. And let me be very clear, this was just a glimpse from different people as to what their vision of Pune could be, because they are in a position where they can dream of a city, which is what all of them have described. So on this note, I'll take everybody's names: Girish Dravid, Himanshu Agrawal, Tejraj Patil, Nilesh Vohra, Radhika Vaidya, Rohit Sardesai, Vikas Achalkar and Nilesh Laddad. I thank all of you for coming here, and I think this discussion can go on literally for hours, and a very interesting one it would be, which is for another day, and definitely we shall do this one more time as a sequel. On this note, I request Sagar to come up on stage, and both of us will be presenting our gift and our token of affection and admiration to all of them. If you can stand in one line, we'll be saving time by giving the citation to each one of them. I request our volunteers to give the citation. We'll give the right name to them. You can just hand it over to them right now. So if you could just stand with the citation, I will only read one of those, and then we'll be taking a nice photo. So this citation says, according to the name, we thank you for participating in the panel discussion on the topic Pune Skyline 2050 held at Pune. Your views and insights have helped to get a better understanding of how the city will grow and evolve. We appreciate and admire your contribution to the design and architecture fraternity through these interactions, and this citation presented to you in deep appreciation on Tuesday, 18th March 2025 from all of us. The citations could be mixed up, but don't worry, we'll make sure you go home. Yeah, okay. So can we have a photo and then we'll just say, nahi te chukun झालंय. तुम्ही द्या कोणाला द्या. You can just hold it. I think there has been some error in the name. Is he there here? I just want him to come up for a second, because the books that we have given to all the dignitaries and all the keynote speakers have been written by him. There are 3 books, and I request both Prakash Medekar to come up on stage and take a group photo, and request him to say the last vote of thanks. And one more thing, may I have your attention please? There is another book that we have given to everybody. I request Shirish also to come on stage. Those books are meant to increase your love of indoor plants, and it's a ready reckoner of which plant to have inside the house. So I request Prakash Medekar to come up on stage, Shirish Gandhi, because his wife is the one who has written those books. And friends, I'm being very serious about this, because books is the most important and most lasting gift that we can, somewhat like the buildings that we are giving our city. So after our photos are done, so the books or the greening are available at the counter. You can ask if you want a copy. I'll be most happy to help. So are we done with the photos? Can we have the vote of thanks? Yeah.
Last word is that I'm also hungry like everybody of you. Please have a nice dinner. And thank you very much. My books has been given here to all of you. These books are very, it's my heart, I will say. And I will suggest everyone that you introduce this book to your engineer staff also.